What's up, guys? Welcome to another amazing episode of the Podcast. I have a very lovely guest with me today. I've tried to get on the podcast for the longest time.
Well, God's time is the best time.
The struggle has been real.
It has been real.
Yeah, we've planned a couple of times, but unfortunately, because of your other job, right?
Mm-hmm.
We couldn't. You're still doing it, right?
Of course, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
So I'll let you introduce yourself. Tell people what you do.
Okay.
And I'll take it off from there.
All right. So my name is Chico. Queenshire is my stage name, but formerly I'm Naomi Wajiko Kinetic. I am a TV presenter on a TV show called It 360. It comes on NTV every Thursday night at 10. Wednesday night, actually. Now the scheduling has changed. And on top of that, I'm a singer, I'm a model, I'm an actress, and I'm an entrepreneur.
Wait, you do all those things, or you're just lying on the podcast?
I do all of those things, yes. And it's very well documented.
Wow. Okay, interesting. Yeah. So now let's just get into it. The podcast is all about health, wealth, love, and happiness.
Okay.
And we're just going to kind of jiggle around everything.
All right.
On those topics. If there's anything you don't want to say, any names, you don't have to.
I'm naming all of them. Today they're going to know. I'm kidding.
So, to start off with, is this something that you always wanted to do as a kid?
No.
Being a journalist?
No, I did not, actually.
What was your dream job?
My dream job was to be a director. It still is. I'm still working towards that, step by step, trying to maneuver my way in the industry. I wanted to be a film director and a writer.
Yeah.
And maybe an actress. And then I got into acting, and I'm not any good.
What happened?
Oh God, it wasn't for me. I hated it. Every minute of it, I hated it. But I still feel like I'll go back at some point when I'm ready.
Is it because you over criticize yourself? Because what I've noticed with a lot of women is I don't like my side. I don't like how I sound. I don't like how I look.
No, I think it's just because particularly I found it hard to become someone else. When you're acting.
Oh, when you're given a role.
Yeah, when you're given a role, I found it hard to become someone else. And then I also found it difficult to memorize the lines. So,
that has to be the worst part, yeah.
Yeah, and when you're, back in the day, people used to, when they show you behind the scenes, they would show you these cardboards where they have the lines written. They don't do that in real life.
I can't even do that. Even with cardboard, it's still because I can't focus on being in character and still read lines.
Right, and then when you also have to remember not just your lines, but the other person's lines. So, I have to remember your cue. And it's it's just a mess. I don't think I'm cut for that.
Oh Lord. So you prefer presenting for now?
Yeah, I love this job though. It wasn't my dream job, but it is right now. I'm having the best time.
Yeah.
It just comes naturally to me. I feel at home on the screen, so I'm having a good time.
How about your parents? Parents always want kind of those traditional jobs that seem to be more secure. Did they support your dream, or is
initially my dad was very supportive, particularly after he retired. He was he would drop me at auditions, he'd drop me at the studio when I was recording my album, and he was very supportive. No, my mom was not at all, but not not from a place of malice, more from a place of she didn't think this was going to work out, and she felt like I was wasting my time.
Concern. Oh wow,
she did. She was like, no, please, just go get a degree, get a job, do what everyone does. And I was like, I ain't like everyone else. You should know this. You birthed me.
And now?
And so when I started making money, then she was super proud of me. Now she's like, don't you ever leave that job.
Wow. And I think that's the best reaction everybody would ever want, just from their parent to support their career path.
True.
Because the generation has changed. It's not the same as it used to be for a lot of them. And especially in Kenya, people are losing jobs left, right, and center. They're not like that.
So even the secure way is not secure anymore.
It's not. It's not. Doctors are striking. Lawyers are striking.
Yeah.
Lawyers are being failed, first of all. They're not even passing exams. So
the KSL thing.
Yeah. So all those things that seemed to be guarantee are no longer the dream, ideal dream jobs that are secure.
And I read a study the other day that was saying by 2030 or 2050, I think, there's some jobs that will be popular in 2050 that haven't been created yet. And I remember thinking, that's not true. Then I thought, maybe 2001, if you told someone about something like YouTube, they would probably be like, wait, do you mean people are going to make money from taking videos of themselves in their houses?
Imagine.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And it's the biggest generating avenue right now. Okay, it hasn't caught up in Kenya, has it?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I do believe that YouTubers are making more money than other people. Like
regular jobs.
Yeah, the regular jobs and also other people in our industry. I do believe YouTubers are making a whole lot of money because of sponsorship. Kenya? Yeah. Like I think I saw an interview the other day of Caroline Motoko who was saying that she made, I think it was 9 million from endorsements just from her YouTube channel. So there's chums.
Caroline, she's kind of like...
She's Caroline.
She's Caroline. So
Yeah.
don't listen to her and just...
Don't drop out yet.
Yeah, like 9 million a year. Plus, you also have to understand she's done that for how many years before she got to create her brand name.
Right. And some of us actually grew up listening to Caroline. Like, she was on our radio every single morning from 6 a.m. And she inspired a lot of us. I actually like to mold my career after her in a lot of ways. I mean, not completely because I think we're two different personalities. But with regards to how she's maneuvered in the industry, I think she's done a great job.
She has.
Yeah.
Would you say she's one of the people that maybe you look up to? Or who else in the industry?
I would, 100%. I would say her. In Kenya, not a lot of people. I would definitely say Caroline.
In Kenya, there are not so many inspiring people,
and I
right?
feel like when you say that, people think you're a hater.
You're
like,
not. Just think about it. Just think about it properly.
The standards are... So, Caroline for sure. And maybe Bonang from South Africa. I think she's so amazing.
Personal branding, she's
tip top.
I saw her doing a breakfast club thing.
Yeah.
And I was just
right, with Charlemagne. Yeah.
Charlemagne the God, yeah. And Andrew Schulz as well on the podcast.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's the heights that you'd want to reach as a personal brand.
True, and the thing about Bonang, and that's why I say it's always good to mold your role model should be yourself, but then it should be inspired by other people. Because I don't want to be as famous as Bonang. Like, Bonang is all up in there, Hollywood Walk of Fame type of girl. I'm more of low key, yeah.
Really?
I want to come to a place like this and just be able to eat and not have people stare at me. I hate people staring at me when I eat.
Oh yeah, because she's always with a crew, cameras and everything, and
Absolutely.
even I think on your Instagram, I've noticed you're very selective on how you post your stuff.
Right, I don't feel the need to constantly, and it's not grandiosity, because when you say that, people think, oh, you think you're better than us because you don't post.
Who cares?
No,
you don't. First of all, you don't need to explain to anyone about anything.
Right?
Yeah, because how many people do you have to explain to at the end of the day if you start explaining?
That's the thing, and then everyone's gonna have a different perception. Even if I do explain, they're still gonna be sitting there that's not why I think she did it. You know what I'm saying? And it's but yeah.
Yeah, so Bonang, Caroline, who else would you say is on your list of people who inspire? Because I think so many young girls do, right now they seek guidance. I don't want to say the wrong places. It might be the right places, but for the wrong reasons. Right. Something like that. But who else would you say is on your list?
Probably Oprah to really push it. Particularly because Oprah has started her own network. And she's, that's something I want to do. But not something like Citizen or NTV, just something for millennials that's fun and young.
Are you saying those ones are boring or what?
Yes, I am. And I'm on NTV. I'm sorry, but the thing about being on TV is...
I like your honesty. Okay, just finish and then I'll explain why. Yeah.
The thing about being on TV is it's a job that you have to do. So don't look at the stuff we do on TV and think, you people, your content is not even that good. A lot of us, corporate tells us, do this.
And there's nothing you can do.
There's nothing you can do about it. You're going to stick to that script, and that's the way it's going to be. So if it was up to me, the content would be,
creative
better.
Control, so that you can just shift things a little bit.
Exactly.
And it's so hard, especially for me, I tried, and it was just I can't do it, because every time, like you said, being told, you have to follow this.
Right.
We like your ideas and everything,
but
just keep them to yourself.
Yeah.
You can do them on your personal projects.
Get on YouTube. They love to tell you that.
Actually,
start a YouTube channel.
Yeah. And it's so hard to explain to these guys that in the next 10, 15 years, they won't be in those positions.
But I think that's the problem. That's why they're working so hard to suppress us, because they're worried that we will come in and take their jobs. But it's inevitable, you guys.
It's going to happen.
It's going to happen.
Think about 10, 15 years. They're all not going to be there.
Yeah, they're going to have to retire.
We're the ones who are adapting to new technology, new ways of content creation, things that are more fun, like you see the way you're saying, things for millennials.
Yeah.
And that's why I think they're actually poaching people from YouTube or the online community and trying to shove them on TV.
On TV, and that doesn't work.
They're not happy. I don't want to say names, but do you think they're happy?
I don't even think I'm happy watching them on TV. And the thing is, when you watch, and that's what I think we've missed completely, right?
Yeah.
In America, you will never find them putting these YouTube stars on TV unless their lives are that interesting to put them on TV.
Never.
Because what is made for you, we go on YouTube to watch them be real. We don't go and watch them have curated content. We go and watch them wake up with no makeup. We go and watch them have zits and pop them. You know what I'm saying? We want to see that real stuff. But if they're on TV, they don't do that. And so it kind of crosses itself out. It's like you want to put real on TV, but then you don't want real on TV. It's like, what are you thinking?
I know. Like, just thinking of being in that position, like, if you were to change things, like if right now, like, you know, your company said, you know what, we've been listening to your complaints and grievances for a very long time. Yeah. Let's put you in this position. What are some of the things you think you'll change?
I definitely would...
so that keep in mind that you know, you're trying to get these millennials who are on YouTube and Instagram and Snapchat
to watch TV again.
To start watch. Do you watch TV?
No.
I've been telling people this whole time, like, listen,
I don't even watch myself on TV.
Ask anybody who works on TV, do they watch TV? And then that's why I'm always asking people, like, okay, who's the target? I really do want to understand who's like your target audience. Because even me, as much as I'm there presenting and doing everything, I'm still not interested in watching. And
that's the thing. Like, if the people on your show, because you know the thing is, we all have, if you're on TV, whether you like it or not, you have some type of connection and some emotional connection to this content, right?
Yeah.
But if even you with the emotional connection can't sit down and watch the show, how are you going to convince someone else to watch the show?
It's kind of tricky. It's kind of tricky.
But to go back to your question, what I would do, I think, the first thing I would do is I would fire a lot of people. I'd fire the people.
Wow.
They've
been firing people. First of all, they have already been firing people.
And they need to be, because I noticed, and then I'm also going to put in a group. What I'm gonna, and this is something I'm gonna make clear.
Yeah.
If I did, let's say if I got to be head of TV at some network,
you will be.
Company's
probably
going to go bankrupt in the first year.
You'll be spending.
We will be spending, and we will be firing, and we will be working towards really changing the industry. I've noticed that a lot of us like the concept of change. We don't actually like change. You know what I'm saying?
Implementing the actual. We'll talk about it.
We'll talk about it. Even in politics, we'll be like, oh, change now, today. The moment we realize change means us actually changing our lives, we're like, okay, that's not the change I want. You know? And the real change that we need is the one that will take years and years. It's not going to happen like this. It's going to happen over time. So what's going to happen is, I do believe if I get into the industry, it's going to be what I would call should I say depression?
Hey, say it. Call it what you have to.
From the bottom, the only way to go is to the top. So that's the first thing I would do. And then I would, are those sunflowers? What are those?
They're cute. They're cute. So,
whose flowers are these? These are cute.
I mean, I know people love me everywhere around. Have you gotten any pre-Valentine's, like, you know, flowers yet?
No, I have not.
Okay, so anyway, these are for you.
Thank you. You know how much I love flowers?
In the spirit of Valentine's Day,
oh my God.
You know, I just had to.
And you didn't get me roses. You got me yellow flowers. This is so cool. And they smell
do you like roses?
I love all flowers.
Oh, okay.
Ooh, wow,
we can still arrange and
Look
send
at
you some roses.
Thank you so much. This is so cool. I'm gonna put them. Where do I put them? Should we put them? Thank you so much. Oh God, I love flowers. Let me give you a hug. I don't think people understand just how much I love flowers.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thank you.
So that's just for Valentine's and everything. We'll get to the love topic and talk about that.
We will get to the love topic. Yeah. Cool.
So back to oh Lord, flowers made me forget about.
Flowers
the things
are amazing. They're a must.
You love them that much? I'll tell you who else loves flowers.
Yeah.
Do you know Junior?
Junior.
Nyongo.
Yeah.
he loves flowers.
Oh my God, I
lot.
love flowers.
Like, that's
I
his
don't
thing.
understand. Like, and I didn't actually notice that. When I was growing up, I always thought they were so cliche. I was like, oh, if my husband buys me flowers, I'll be so mad. And then I don't know what happened. It's like a switch.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, I'm in love. Like, flowers, I don't know.
This is a right position. I don't want to spoil them.
No,
It's
don't
good.
spoil them. They're perfect. I'm going to the office after this. I'm going to go and floss. Come in and be like, hey, don't talk to me. I have flowers.
So yeah, back to... Oh Lord, what was our topic? The things that you'd change.
Yeah.
And,
So
like,
the first thing, I would also create content my content will be created by young people and not by older people. And then also I'd like to have some type of relationship with the PR people. So we don't want to just create content because we're passionate about it. Because a lot of us go to the studio, especially with music and stuff, you go to the studio, you record an album that you love so much, and then everyone hates it.
Yeah.
So we also want to make sure that we're creating something that people want to see.
That people want to hear, listen
and want to hear
watch.
it. Right, exactly. And when we start ignoring consumers, that's when we start missing the mark. Like Victoria's Secrets, the show has been cancelled because they said they don't want to have plus size, they said they don't want more diversity, and a whole bunch of things.
And that's Victoria's Secret.
Yes, the
Like
runway show.
Oh,
it's been cancelled
Lord.
because people aren't watching it anymore. So when you ignore consumers, it's detrimental to your business. So I would have this relationship with PR where we can ask the people, what do you want to see on our networks? And of course, we're going to get a whole bunch of, because I've noticed, like I did a focus group the other day. I noticed when you give people the power to answer questions, they will be wajwajis.
They practically like help you out with so much that you didn't even
they'll give
know.
you so much insight, because we did that focus group, we thought we had created the best product possible. And when we did it with two different kids from lower socioeconomic areas, the kids from higher socioeconomic areas, they gave us the same feedback.
Wow.
And we had literally had a blind spot.
Yeah.
And it was crazy. It's like when you do that, you realize what the problem in the industry is. They're not asking people, what do you think and would you watch this on TV? You know? Yeah, so I would definitely, there's a lot that needs to be done. It's not something that I can say in obviously 10 minutes, but I don't even know if I'd want that job, first of all.
Now listen, the change starts with us. Because like you said, we can talk about change, but you want somebody else in that position and they still want
right. And then I'm not going to keep complaining without coming with solutions.
Yeah.
You know?
Because like even for me, I kept on just complaining about what I'm listening to on radio.
Yeah.
It's not informative. It's not entertaining. It doesn't give people like a touch of reality.
Yeah.
And then I started a podcast because why am I complaining to everybody that can't even listen or assist? But with the podcast, I can bring people in different fields.
Right.
And they can actually give you an inside scoop. Like you see the way you're just saying like, yo, I don't watch TV.
Yeah.
See, I mean, not so many people would understand that or would know that.
Yeah.
Especially when they see on the screens. Because how many other people want to be in your position right now?
Right, and it's not shade, and it's not
It's
lack
not.
of appreciation, because people be like, oh, so you're on TV and you don't even watch, you're so arrogant. Nah, it's because I've told you, I'm being paid to do a job. I go out there and I do the job to the best of my abilities. But you can't force me to watch a show.
You get the job done. You get the job done.
Yeah, and that's
right?
basically where my contract is. Can't force me to watch a show I don't want to watch. God damn.
And after, before you even started, like, you know, the mainstream with, like, the network that you're working with right now, have you done any other jobs before, like, you know, you found, like, you know what, before you settled for that?
Yeah, I was a singer for the longest time, and that's why I wanted to,
like that was, like, the main...
Yeah, it
in
was
Kenya or where?
Here in Kenya.
Where did you grow up, first of all?
I grew up in Nairobi, born and raised.
Okay,
25 flow.
okay.
Pow, pow, pow.
So, why did you take a break, or you just like it's just one of those things that you think it? Oh,
I don't know.
look at the face you're making.
Yeah, because I was in the studio the other day with a couple of friends, and I just realized that I can't remember how to write a song.
Right.
Yes, I don't know. Maybe it's because I just have so much. I haven't written a song in I think almost 2 years, which is really crazy because for as long as I can remember, I have been an avid reader and a writer. I haven't also written a story in like 2 years. So I guess right now this is an epiphany moment for me because I have to change my ways. You know what I'm saying? I need to start going back to writing and reading and just coming up with all these different... Because I noticed my creativity kind of got stifled when I started thinking about money, you know?
And I'm always telling people, because the first thing that people ask you when you're doing something is, how much do you get paid?
Right.
How much do you get? I'm like, stop focusing on that.
Yeah.
If you're good and focus on something the money's going to come.
It will come eventually.
It will.
And you know, the thing is, like right now, and I do understand, but there's two sides to this argument, right? I understand you have to be passionate about what you do and you have to love what you do, but it gets to a point where you have bills to pay, and passion doesn't pay bills. I used to tell myself that every day.
That's where you get the job done.
You get the job done.
Mm-hmm.
And do it well. So I guess that's why I've now got into TV, because it pays really well, and then it just became, it's like, it's almost now like you have everything, you know what I'm saying? I got this job when I was 20. You're 20, you're earning more money than even like graduates. You're being able to live life, you know, take your friends to lunch and dinner.
That's good.
And then you forget what made you even get here in the first place, why you started doing this. And I guess for me this year, that's one thing I wanted to change. I'm trying to go back to the studio, trying to go back to writing.
Like what actually made you...
Right. And now you see, because I don't need the money, I'm actually going to be able to be passionate about it. Like, I'm going to be able to make a song that I enjoy, and not just a song that is going to sell. It's going to get me views.
And you can actually invest your money into...
Right.
Like, you can invest the money into your passion right now.
Yeah. So it's a good place to be right now for me, I think, and that's why I always tell people to just trust the process. Like, it's all going to happen the way it's meant to happen. Like, if you're religious, or if you believe in the universe or whatever, the world is working for you. So you just have to keep pushing. It's gonna work out eventually.
Words of wisdom. Listen. So, just being on Telly, people who are looking maybe at your Instagram, or maybe they see you on TV presenting. If you're to give them like tips. To like get into that like line of work, or just get into the industry. What kind of advice would you give them, considering that like right now, because we'll go back to the music a bit, there's something I want to touch on on that. What advice would you give them, considering like right now, especially like in Kenya, the people who are getting like these really nice jobs are kind of like celebrities, Kenyan celebrities.
They recycle people a lot.
The same people. This person living here, and some have like even 2 jobs or 3 in 3 different stations.
Networks. I never understand that. Like, shouldn't the contract prevent them? Because that's kind of what makes the shows in Kenya not pop so much. You know what I'm saying? Like, you listen to Churchill. Churchill is only on Churchill Live. And that's why Churchill Live is such a big deal, because you don't see him here, then you see him on Citizen doing something else, or he
still
has
the weather forecast guy, like on another network here.
But the advice I would give you is to do everything. Like, when I'm telling you that I was acting, I was singing, you have to do everything. And not necessarily because you're good at everything, or because one of them is going to pan out, but one of them is going to give you that connect that you need to be that person.
And it can even be an assistant to boost everything else.
I was an assistant, I was a makeup artist, I was a stylist. I remember when I got my first hosting gig, it was at a TV show called Icon, right? I was there for research and development. I wasn't even supposed to host. And then they just were like, "You're really loud." And I was like, bet. And they were like, "Do you think you can host?" Because the host could make it one day. That dissing me, man. And I was like, "Yeah, sure. Give me the mic." And I came and I hosted, and I actually ended up getting the job. And then the girl who was supposed to host got so mad at me that she quit. And I was like, we were supposed to host together. Like,
and it's kind of tricky, right? Because at times it's like you didn't even want this in the first place, but you just did what was expected of you.
You did, and you did it well. So make sure you go. My advice to you is not to focus on one thing, because it won't work out here. I mean, it will. I don't know what's going to happen, but I would advise you to be, even if it's just an assistant. And a lot of these jobs you wouldn't get paid for. And I get it. It's not something you want to hear, and it's unfair, and it should be illegal, these unpaid internships. But it's not. And right now you're going to get that one person who's going to say, "You know what? You're really good at makeup. Come in. Do makeup for another show. You're really good at hosting. Come and host. You should act, you know, you should sing, you should do something." Or maybe later on you'll hear that person, like, for example, one of a good friend of mine is Anna Solik, he's a director. He literally, it was him and Mike Lolly P, another director, and they would literally just call me for things. They're like, "Yo, we have this thing we want you to do." And just out of just friendship and, you know, working together and having respect for one another, that's just the way it is.
These guys have never given me a call. I asked you guys to be an assistant.
They're my boys.
Enos. How many times did I ask you, beg you?
Ellis is homie G.
Lord. Now, Valu is the homie too as well. I guess we're just like in different, parts of just whatever.
Yeah, and I'm sure when he figures something
really
out,
good. They're really
extremely
good
talented people, and they have just there's not a lot of people that say this about in the industry, but they're generally the few people I've met who have the best hearts.
Yeah.
Like, just clean spirits.
Yeah.
Like people who they have no jealousy, they're not hitting on you, they're not trying to sleep with you, they just genuinely want to see you do well, and we need more of them.
Yeah.
Big up to you
Speaking of
guys.
which, you've mentioned something really important.
Sleeping with you.
Listen, especially for like a pretty girl like you, right?
Thank you.
You are.
Thank you.
For sure. And guys, make sure you go to her Instagram, give her extra likes and everything.
Thank you.
So, I mean, I'm sure just putting yourself out there and trying so many other things.
Yeah.
People would see you probably and say like, you know how it is, like
Yeah.
especially like in Nairobi, because other people, that's what they do to get in positions and get their job. They'd be like, I'm sure she slept with somebody to get in that position. I'm sure
that
that's why
irks
she's
me
like,
so much. It irks me because, one thing, I don't judge, because I know not everyone was dealt the same cards,
Yeah.
I've always told people that I grew up on the west side. My parents, we had hard times, but we never really had hard times where I felt like I had to go.
What's the west side?
Westlands, Loresho.
Okay. Yeah.
And so I never really, our times we had our ups and downs, but it never really got to a point where I felt like I was at like my last resort, which is normally, because a lot of girls who sell themselves don't do it because they're whores. Like, people just look at them and think, oh yeah, you're just splitting your legs, blah, blah, blah. A lot of these girls, this is like, do you know how much it takes for you to finally decide to lay down on your back? You know what I'm saying?
Hey, listen,
Like,
I wouldn't know.
I'll tell you one thing.
I know it's a thing in Nairobi.
It
so
is.
I mean, I'd tell you like I've lost contracts because some chick slept with my client.
Right.
That I know. So I mean, I know some people just do it just for sabotage. Or like,
true.
you think you can keep this contract.
True, and also some girls, true. There are some people who haven't obviously been at rock bottom and they just used it to get ahead. Fine, that's fine. But I don't judge even them, because there's also a lot of corruption in the country that is used by a lot of men.
It's just
but I would say one thing
inevitable.
that irks me so much is when people try and even insinuate that I slept my way to the top. I'm not even at the top, but just to insinuate that this is how I got to where I've gotten, it pisses me off so much, because I literally was this close to suicide. You know what I'm saying? Because this job this job, like, I worked for 2 years and made 40,000. And that was from getting 5 Gs here, 10 Gs here.
Wait, for
2 years.
Accumulated 2 years, you made the
2
40?
years, 40,000 in 2 years. Okay. And it just...
And I want people to understand, so that when you mention these figures, somebody can understand. It's not like, you just...
And I kept pushing. And you see, the thing is, I had moments where I was told, you are really talented, but you're too dark. Do you think you can just light it just a bit? Literally, like, when I did my audition, some guy walked up to me and said, you're so talented. But then he pointed at this another mixed race girl who works in the industry, and they were like, we want something like that. And I was like, you bitch.
Those are the people who should need to be fired when we're talking
like
about
this, real quick.
I don't understand, because look at how you present. First of all, pretty, beautiful.
Thank you so much.
You're well. How can I say it? What's the word? What's the perfect word for this? Okay, now if I start looking for the perfect word, it's gonna take me a while. And see you sipping your water like.
I'm like, what's he gonna say?
But you're just well composed, and how you carry yourself.
Thank you so much.
It seems like you've been raised well.
Thank you so much.
And that's very adorable, especially like in this millennial era. It's not so many people who can speak about such things
with conviction.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I can say, there's no one in this whole industry or any other industry who can come and say, this one, I know she used to be so-and-so's girlfriend, or she used to be so-and-so. No.
Exactly.
Like, I worked my way to the top, and it has been so hard. So that's one thing I'll tell you. But it does also piss me off, like what you said about when you lose a job or something because someone, like, the corruption is just everywhere, even in this industry. Like, you lose a job because someone knows someone, and someone
who's... I want you to read this.
All right.
Or do you want to finish your sentence first?
No, go ahead. Let's see.
I'm sorry, guys. People always complaining. You keep interrupting your guest. I'm so sorry.
There's a time limit, my G.
So one of my friends, I don't know whether you know him. but just
Rodney.
read it.
All right.
I'm sure you know.
Been
And
back in the
he's doing
country.
something with NTV as well.
Yeah?
Yeah.
No, maybe I'm really bad at names. Maybe if I see his face.
I'm sure 100%.
All right. Been back in the country 6 months, and I can say this without shame. Kenya is has the most dishonest people on earth. Bet. Both in public and in the private sector. Someone will make it their job to frustrate you so that you either give them a kickback or you bribe them. Absolutely. Wonder why white-collar crime and suicide rates are going up? This is the reason. Being professional in the country is a sin and a taboo, and I agree.
You see the same thing that you just
100%.
mentioned,
Yeah.
that, you are on the verge of committing.
Absolutely. And it's not because, and that's why I'm telling you right now, if you're watching this, it's not because you're not talented or because you didn't grow up on a certain side of town. It's simply because people here are dishonest.
They are dishonest.
And a lot of us are working very hard to move to, with our own enterprise, we're working very hard to change that and to make sure that if someone's getting a job, even if it's someone you know, you're giving them based on merit and not based on, I want to sleep with him, or I want him to like me, or this is my boy. You know what I'm saying?
Some people ask you that.
They do. A lot of people come and ask me.
Has a few people tried? Because it can't be one. You're way too hot.
Oh, to try and sleep with me?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very disgusting. I particularly had to file a harassment. First of all, me, I'm not playing with you niggas. Okay, don't be over here trying to touch me. Like someone once, I was on set once, and I'm not even gonna say what role this person played.
Yeah.
But I was walking and I just felt a whole slap on my
You're
ass.
lying.
And
Nobody
I
can
was
spanking you on set.
I literally looked back at him and he looked at me like, what you gonna do, bitch? What you gonna do?
Shit.
And I remember I held it in for almost 2 months until I told my producer. And I was like, because she's a friend of mine and she's also female. I was like, yeah, so-and-so, he slapped my ass. And she was like, that's completely, like, there's nothing, that's wrong, okay? And she told me, you need to go file a report. And I did. And the backlash that I got at the office after that was just fucking crazy. Like,
are you insane?
Yeah.
They didn't.
Like, I literally was going through so much because I was harassed. I had to pay a price. And it's disgusting. But you know what? I feel like God made me strong, so I keep pushing.
Yeah.
And it gets better. I know it's gonna get better. He's not gonna do well.
Oh, hey, listen.
Yes.
The new era, like we said, we're the future. Like, people don't understand. Like, I'm always saying on the podcast, the doors that you closed for me, let's give it time. I'll play this clip back and remind you. Because I'll have to remind you so that also other people who are coming up can understand.
Yes.
Not everything just happens or when they see you smiling. It's not like everything is perfect.
Right.
You've had to undergo and just battle so many little things.
Absolutely.
Office politics, the crappiest thing that you have to go through, like when you're employed. It's the
especially
worst.
when you're young and you're the youngest person there. You're not as qualified as all the other people you're meeting. It is absolutely horrible. This is a funny story.
Yeah.
There's a girl who I used to work with. This bitch. She wrote an email. Now let me tell you guys about God. Let me tell you about Jesus. So this girl wrote an email talking about how she wanted to do my job, basically. And she said she's more qualified, she's been here longer, she's a better presenter, she's this, she's that. And she forgot, so she wrote an email and tagged all these people and accidentally tagged me. There's another
on
Shiko.
the email again on the CC?
Yes. She wanted to tag another Shiko, she tagged me.
Oh,
and so I opened my email and I'm like, what the fuck? And I open it and I read it and I'm like, is she for real? And then she calls me immediately when she realizes the mistake she'd made. And she's like, hi, how are you? And I'm like, fine. And she's trying to see if I'm mad. But I wasn't mad. I found it funny. I didn't care.
Yeah.
And then she got fired like 2 weeks later.
You see?
Pure L's.
See? Unprofessional and dishonest. It's throughout. Like, I know like an incident last year, like I was getting this deal.
Yeah.
And, there's somebody who was in that position and they could make things work, right?
Yeah.
And I was the only one who's qualified, right? And I didn't know it was guaranteed, but I played my role.
Yeah.
And, the deal was going to go through.
Right.
But since they were, like, we're not doing the same role. So let's say they're marketing and I'm also doing something close to marketing.
Okay.
And, they don't want to look like they're not good at their job.
Yeah.
Because mine is really good.
Yeah.
And they just made me lose on so much money that
Right.
in December I was just like stressed the hell out. But I was like, you know what? I don't have to work with somebody who doesn't want to work with me.
And they're actually gonna make you end up looking like the enemy because,
Yes.
and they will,
Make you look bad.
They will, because I remember when I first came into this job, I felt there was a bit of tension with this particular girl because she would smile in my
side
face.
eyes. Oh,
Yeah, she'd smile in my face, and then everyone else, like, she would be calling them and asking, why is she doing this? I wanted to do that, and I wanted to do this. And I was like, this is just super shady because I feel like right now women are in a place where we don't want to be catty. We want to help each other grow. Us being catty is what's made us not progress. I mean, of course, there's patriarchy, but even we are part of patriarchy because we are so jealous of one another.
You're your own worst enemies.
Exactly.
At times,
And so I felt like, because why is she so angry at me? And then I thought maybe because she thought I slapped my way to the top. She thought I got the job because of an accent. There's people who always, they try and minimize your success.
Well, get an accent too.
Get that accent.
Get an accent
But then
too.
now when you start doing that, you start looking like you're acting like someone else. Like, just be authentic.
Just be
Your time will
yourself.
come.
Just be yourself. There's nothing as easy as being yourself.
No one
Easy.
else can be you.
Yeah.
Like, that's your advantage. And I don't know why we're working so hard to be other people. So you see, with her, it made me feel like I remember talking about it with my dad, and he was like, "Don't worry, just go out there, do your job. You're not there to make friends." And I did it. And then you see what happens. When you have a bad heart, things just don't work out for you. So you must just get in there and just be positive. You know what I'm saying? All of us are trying to hustle. Like, none of us are living our Hollywood Hills life. So just
we're
chill.
just trying to make
Chili.
our way to the top.
Right.
Like you said. And just one more important thing, like when you spoke about like when you were like at your lowest and you're actually like thinking of ending it.
Yeah.
But how did you like just overcome that? How did you get your mind back in frame? Because I know like how it can be.
It is.
It can be horrible because you're thinking, and right now with so many things happening around us, even if you are trying to ignore it, you're seeing this person's lane, this person's project is taking off and everything, and like, I'm doing everything that I'm supposed to, and why is it just not?
And especially when you've made because I was supposed to go to the UK for university, and I remember when I told my parents, I'm not going to the UK, I'm going to stay here. And they were like, are you out of your mind? And I was like, no, I'm staying here. I'm going to go to university here because I know if I go to the UK, I'll come back here when I'm 22, 23. Starting a career at 23 in media is harder than starting it at 18. So I thought, and I'm glad I made that decision, but I didn't know that this was going to happen. So 18, 19, I got my first job at 20. So 18, 19, up until like early, like maybe when I just turned 20, I have no job. I've been on TV shows that have been extremely miserable. Nothing is working out. And I've made this decision about, like, I've decided this is what I want to do, and it's not working out for me. And I'm asking myself, what else can you do? Because, a lot of people have options. It's like, if you don't work in medicine, then you can work in consultancy, or if you can work in design. You know what I'm saying? I didn't have that. It's either I work in media or I don't do anything at all.
Shit.
So it was like, so what am I doing? If I can't work in media, if I can't do this, what's the purpose? And I remember thinking, there's no reason. Like, I sat in my room and I was like, I just can't. Like, I used to cry every single day. I would go to school, come back, cry every single day. And I remember it was my dad who came to me and he was like, let's go for a walk. And I couldn't, when you're, I don't know are you like a stress eater? Because I'm not. When I'm depressed, I can't even eat.
I lose my appetite.
Yes,
People
me
start
too.
noticing that I'm a bit skinny.
Me too. I lost so much weight and my dad was like, let's go for a walk. So I haven't eaten in like 3 days, so I couldn't even walk. So I was so tired. I remember feeling like I'm going to collapse. And when we got there's a restaurant next to our house. And we got there and he was like, what is wrong? And I was like, I can't do this. Like,
he could tell.
Yeah. And I was like, I'm literally considering suicide. And he was like, nope. So he got me a doctor. I got into a treatment. No, I wasn't committed. I got some psychiatric help. And until today, I have to shout out to Dr. Maggie. She was my doctor and she literally helped me get out of a very dark place. And it's not like my life has been perfect since. It's just now I have better coping mechanisms as opposed to going, sometimes when you're sad, where your friends tell you, let's go drink, take a shot.
Let's go drink.
Nah, that's going to make you feel worse.
Like, you wake up in the morning.
And you're like, ugh. And alcohol is a depressant. So you wake up the next day feeling worse than you were feeling yesterday. And best believe, if you leave the house depressed, you're going to go do some stupid thing.
So many stupid things, and then everything will be just worse. It'll be twice as worse.
Right. So for me, I went to therapy, I got help, and then I made the conclusion that, you know what, it works out, it doesn't work out. I'm still here, and I'm still gonna be happy, you know.
And if at times you have to think about it this way, there are people who are like in far worse situations, conditions.
Absolutely.
But they're still pushing.
They do.
They're still pushing.
And your attitude changes. Like I noticed one thing I've been doing, I've been having these affirmations. When I wake up in the morning, I look at myself in the mirror and I always laugh because I find myself to be very funny, by the way. And so something about my hair and just the way I look is just so hilarious. So I always laugh.
Is that your natural
hair? And I'm
hair?
like, yeah, this is my natural hair.
Of course they'll hate you in these studios. Of course they'll hate you. She's like, she doesn't even know how to put on a wig.
I mean, you know me, I love a wig. So I look in the mirror and I'm like, today's going to be a good day. And it normally is a good day. So, you know, you just have to be positive. Like, trust me, those just your attitude sometimes. And I know a lot of people like, attitude isn't going to help when you're sick or something like that. Trust me, it might just make it a little bit better. Just a bit. You know?
How about people like you just surround yourself with?
I agree. Also, you need to stop begging people to be friends with you. You need to stop being around people who aren't at your level. And I know people don't like to hear that because then it feels like you're thinking you're better than them. But a lot of times, you're growing and your friends aren't. You know what I'm saying? Like you're in a place where you've taken steps towards becoming better and your friends aren't. And a lot of times those friends will start to hate you for that. Okay, and they'll start to feel like
the story of my life.
They start to feel like you're looking down at them. They start to feel like you think because you've done this that you're the queen. Or alternatively, they'll start to use you when you're successful. Like I remember when I started working, I had a friend who would come out with me and never pay for any single bill, yet drink the most expensive alcohol. And at that time, I was like, swipe, swipe, swipe. You know, you don't understand.
It's not even registering in your head what somebody's doing.
Right. And then when you start to now think about actually making progress in your own life, like I want to buy a car, I want to get a house. Yeah. You're like, wait, if I'm going to do that, I can't be spending 12 G's on alcohol. What? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So you really, your circle really does change. I would prefer that you stay with people who are older than you. Like that's the advice I'd give you. Because then you'll always have, what do they say? If you hang around 5 idiots, you'll be the 6th. If you hang around 5 millionaires, you'll be the 6th. Yeah. So choose your circle wisely. Yeah.
It's kind of tricky because like this industry, especially if you're trying to grow, you'll find people who are just might be next to you and they're behind the scenes trying to make things not work out for you completely.
People are very malicious.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. You're right. I completely agree.
It's tricky. But okay, we'll come back to media. Let's bounce back to music a bit. Okay. What do you think of the current state of music in Kenya?
I think it's great. The Play KE thing really did a good job of playing these people's music, but I still think there needs to be a lot more that needs to be done. Particularly considering that these people are playing their music, but are they getting the shows and are they getting the money that they need to perform? Because how are you going to perform and getting paid 30 G's and your song is the biggest song in Kenya right now? You know what I'm saying?
Who's that?
Oh, it's like as a band, they pay them like you know, if, like let's say like Epic, you pay Epic 100,000. Like how do you pay a group 100,000 to perform? That's fucking crazy.
Yeah, because that means the manager has to get something
and then you cut everything. That means they're getting what, 10 G's?
Yeah.
But then again, a lot of these
and
artists...
how many gigs do you get?
I have a cold, sorry.
Sorry. You want something warm?
No, I don't.
You sure?
Yeah, I have a lot of work to do.
Some sparkling wine can fix that.
Sparkling wine?
Yeah.
Ah, yes. It's Valentine's Day. It's Valentine's Day. Valentine's is tomorrow, though.
It is tomorrow. Yeah. But, you know, shooting...
Love comes early.
When do you think this will come out? When do you want this to come out?
On Valentine's Day.
This?
Tomorrow? That's too soon.
It's not coming.
Saturday.
If I tell you that I've shot content for till next...
I would believe you.
I've shot for till November.
Yes, I would believe you. You know why? He showed me his calendar when we were trying to organize this Kisscapade.
Sparkling wine. Yeah.
Two. We're drinking 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. Excuse me. Can I please have a serviette?
So yeah, guys. So for the listeners, sorry, we had to order a little something to celebrate this special occasion.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So what were we saying?
Music industry.
Yeah.
Right.
We're talking about payment and everything.
So they're not getting paid what they deserve. They're also not getting the endorsements. And then also I think people haven't quite understood that, like, people hate on Epic because they sing about their lives. You know what I'm saying?
Hey,
they live that life. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is not something...
Do you want me to open some of the lyrics? Because if you say they're living that life,
dirty.
there's some lyrics that might get them convicted for what they're saying.
I remember that. I saw that. Oh my God.
So when you say like this is...
No, maybe not all
is
of it.
Is that what you're saying?
No, though. What do you think?
No, I'll tell you something that people don't understand. If you've been brought up in a completely different environment, there's some things to you that might be offensive.
Right.
But in other environments, when they say they do certain things to women, that's actually what they do. They're not lying or they're not and it's completely normal to them.
I agree.
It's normal to them.
Even this thing of hitting, like, there's a lot of times when you're in a matatu or something, you hear a story of a man saying how he would beat his wife. And if you say that in Westgate or here in Galleria, people would be like, excuse me?
Yeah.
But because they're used to that. And you see, even a lot of women in those areas don't feel like they're being marginalized. Like, I remember I took a gender studies class when I joined uni.
Yeah.
And one thing they taught us was we need to stop having the savior complex, where you go up to a group of people and tell them, oh, you are doing this FGM, it's so messed up, it's wrong, it's this, it's that. It is, ideally, but it's essentially wrong. But the way you tell these people something will really impact whether they're going to change or not.
It's how you say it.
Yes, and also a lot of people, when you come and tell them to change their culture, this is what they've seen their parents do. They've seen their grandfathers. Exactly. They've seen everyone do this. And then here you come with your education and you're like, oh, no, you can't do that anymore. It's wrong. They'll look at you like, are you crazy? In fact, they'll even do it more to try and prove you wrong.
Actually try and grow the numbers.
Yes.
Yeah.
To try. You see, so there's just, with Ethic and them, I like what they do because they sing songs for people that I don't feel have been represented so well, particularly the youth. We like to, my parents love that word of the youth of these days, I'm like, you people have left this economy crippled telling us about the youth of these days.
They're the ones who,
like, you have
forgotten that the ones who
harm.
Created these people.
And you created them, you've raised them, and now you've left a horrible planet for them to live on. So please excuse me if they're smoking a little weed or if they're drinking a bit of alcohol.
That's just okay. Yes. That's normal stuff that kids do.
Exactly. And you see this thing, like, I think also older people have, not just parents, is the grandiosity of always thinking, I never did it, so I'm better than you. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, we never, in our time, we never did that.
If we go to their archives, come on. I think they were also like a bit crazy.
Yeah, and a lot of them used to have kids when they were like 16, 17, 18.
15.
Yeah.
Or even get married.
Or get married, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of them didn't even marry their soulmates or the people, they just married the one they found.
Just because. So, I mean, it's kind of tricky.
It is.
Because the generation change and gap is too big. What I know for sure for like the new music in Kenya, and I can say for sure that I can vouch for them. I can't vouch for everything because I might have a daughter maybe, in future.
Yeah.
And somebody might just play this back and say like,
your dad was
is
one
what
of
you're
those
niggas. So I'll just say the one thing I know and I respect and appreciate is like they made Kenyans stop playing Nigerian and Tanzanian, overplaying.
Right.
People actually started listening to like
and
Kenyan music.
they put it everywhere now. Like it's now cool to listen to Kenyan music.
Yeah.
Before people would be like, Kenyan music. Like I used to have friends when I was in the music industry. I never understood this, right? They didn't want you. They want you to play Kenyan music, but only their Kenyan music.
Yeah.
So they only hide behind this Kenyan music thing when it benefits them. But otherwise, they'll be like I remember we used to be in the car and I'd have the aux on and I'd play a song and people be like, yo man, remove that shit. But then they want to play their mixtape. And I'm like, but that's...
The mixtape, which is not maybe as good as... It's
not well mastered. And it's like, I saw this meme, it was a tweet, and someone was like, wow, so all of you are going to be rappers. We won't have doctors and plumbers.
Yeah. It's unfortunate, but I think they've pushed that envelope. We have to appreciate and respect, but I do know there's... what I know and I can say is that it might limit them in terms of growing, because like right now, everything is super international, right?
True, right.
So,
Thank
of course...
you.
If you want to be voted if you want MTV to nominate you for like a certain award at the end of the year, best artist, take that. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So if you want MTV, sorry, not MTV.
Yeah.
My apologies, guys, not MTV.
Hey, leave my network out of this. Cheers. Woo. I don't want to drop it.
Not on the mixer though.
Not on the mixer.
Cheers to
Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day.
People are looking around like, what kind of alcoholics are drinking at this time in the morning? By the way, guys, it's 10 a.m.
It's 10 a.m., yeah, you know. Some sparkling wine never hurts nobody.
Absolutely not. Some of us have papers that are due today.
What?
Yes, you know, these people, corporate people are very annoying. I'm just going to point that out. You can't fucking send me a brief the day before and expect me to finish it today.
Listen, I mean, that's the story of my life, but I also understand, like, how many times have we planned and then something came up?
Okay, true.
In the morning.
Right, yeah.
And, you know, at some point I was just like, is she doing this for fun? I just say what I was thinking in my inside voices.
I was getting so mad at these people.
In my inside voices, I was like, okay, we've planned everything and everything. So in the morning, I get a text. So at first, I'm like, okay, this is just inside voices, right? This is not what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Like, this bitch. This bitch.
No!
Because, you know, the first time I got the text, I literally had my bags like this.
Yeah, like you're out of the way.
You know what I did that day? I came with my bags and everything and had breakfast and then went back home.
I'm so sorry.
But no,
Let me tell you what happened.
But I was like, I have to like think about like, this is just my reaction, but I have to think about its work.
Yeah.
What else is she supposed to do? If like she's been
and they
called.
were really giving me shit. Like they would, I've literally had, I can't remember what happened the second time, but it was just the same thing. Where the first time someone messed up equipment. So we shoot, I literally told them, let's shoot the day before because I would not be available tomorrow.
Yeah.
And so someone messed up the equipment, they messed up the sound. Someone wasn't listening.
Oh.
So I did my whole thing without the sound. And literally, I don't know how, like this is just incompetence. You know what I'm saying? I was so angry at them. So the show had to go on air the next day, which means I had to do it that morning.
Yeah.
And so I was like, can we do it later on? I think I asked you, like, can we do it later on? I don't take long to do my links. I'll do it in like an hour.
I was like, okay, this is a prank now. Because she can do this and then I'll go set up again. And she's going to pull the same stunt on me.
And I remember I was so sad because I was like, he probably hates me right now. And I was like, you know what? Let me just make sure I can sort out this whole issues with this job and stuff. And then after that, when I'm free, because I told them they wanted to shoot today. And I was like, no. They're like, oh, we'll shoot after. I was like, no, because you'll call me in the morning and tell me that you have to shoot in the morning because you have another shoot. And I was like, no. We're going to shoot on Friday, period.
And that's it. But yeah, I had to understand because there's some people who've been like, you know, I've also, like what I normally try and do nowadays, because, you know, we're not off topic because we're still talking about production and everything. What I try and do nowadays, if I book a day for shooting, I try and book 3 or 4 people. So that means I have to shoot 3 or 4. So if one person cancels,
you can't push it forward.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, I still have other people who will replace and compensate for the time that I've taken to come and set up and everything.
Yeah.
So it's just like a plan B.
That's good. And I will tell you one thing. I've been trying to also get into doing podcasts. It's just that I haven't really quite understood my niche.
Do people tell you about your voice?
Thank you. I used to get made fun of. Like my boyfriend makes so much fun of me. He's always like, your voice is so deep.
No. You have a nice,
you should
nice
hear me
voice.
In the morning.
You have a nice voice. You have a nice voice.
Thank you so much. Thank you. So yeah, I really have a lot of respect for people who take initiative and do things on their own and are disciplined without necessarily having to be followed around by a boss or to be followed around by to get money. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of us do our jobs for the money.
Yeah.
So imagine if there was no money. Would you actually be focused and show up every day without fail? That's something to respect. I have a lot of respect for that. I'll tell you that. Yeah, there's not a lot of people, even like the very successful people in this industry in Kenya, who have that dedication.
It's really hard. It's really hard, and especially if you're doing something alone, you have nobody to blame apart from you.
And then you have to be the person to contact the people you want on the show. You come up with the content, you pay for the equipment, you bring. You know what I'm saying? There's just so much investment that goes into this.
Don't stress me out. Please don't stress me out. Oh Lord. Because the list is endless.
It's endless. Yeah. And you see, the thing is, when I started my own company, and that's when I realized I have to do everything.
Because even when you put now people in those positions, once you get to that level, you know absolutely when somebody's lying about something like, oh, I'm sorry, I couldn't get it done. You're like, it's possible. I've done it before.
Exactly.
You can actually do it within this scope of time.
Right. So. And that makes you unfuckwithable, is what they call it.
Of course. No, for sure. For sure. Okay, now back to what kind of music do you do? what are you doing?
I was doing.
Or are you planning to keep on doing?
Yes, I'm planning on doing everything now. I love reggae. I love reggae. I didn't even notice how much I loved reggae until recently. No, I don't. I have sinuses. Okay. Are you not seeing the cold?
Hey, listen. That was just a question. Hey, listen. I'm just asking. It's like reggae goes with that, and
it does normally hand in hand. But no, I don't smoke. I love melodies, and I feel like there's not a lot of music that has melodies right now, like especially with pop music. Is so
yeah. It's kind of like almost the same.
Yeah, rap used to be good, like older rap was so good, and there's still some rap artists that are doing some good things, but not enough for me to be like that's what I want to do. But I'm trying to do reggae, probably some PBR&B. And alternative.
What's PBR&B?
It's like The Weeknd, so it's R&B but modern day R&B.
And nice music.
Yeah, and then maybe country. I don't know. I just want to make I want to make music, like good music. It's not really for me. And now that I'm not doing it for the money, I feel like I'm in a good place where I can actually say.
That's the one thing people need. If money is the only thing that drives you, you will fail miserably.
Do you believe that money stifles creativity?
It does.
Yeah.
It does.
I believe so.
It does. And even if you get it, I think at times it's kind of like you have to kind of like, I don't know, program like your brain not to think about the money.
Or at least get someone else. Yeah. Or maybe that's what I think. And also when you're getting into this industry, even if you're not making money, it's important for you to have a team. Because you will, like what I was telling you about the focus group, your judgment will be clouded.
Yeah.
So you will have a moment where you will think again, like Marvin Gaye once said, he recorded, I can't remember what album it was, but he recorded an album and it flopped, and he was like, I've literally created the best piece of my life, and everyone hates it. And I remember that it was a documentary about him, and I watched that and I was like, wow, like that spoke to me so much. And as an artist, if you want to make money from your art, you have to separate art from profession. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like a swimmer. Like a lot of us can swim. Do you swim?
I can swim.
Yes, but can you swim professionally is the question.
Of course not.
That's the thing. There's a certain level of dedication that comes into being a professional that takes away from passion. A lot of people love swimming and are really good at it, but when it comes down to actually pursuing it professionally, it makes them hate it.
Yeah.
Okay. A lot of people who have gotten into sports at a really young age, it's their parents who push them because they were talented and it's easy for them. But then they hate it because it's now a chore. It's not, it's like not fun anymore.
Like, yo, go and do this. You need to go to practice. You need to.
Exactly. You're doing this now, and then when you fail, it's not like I'll get back tomorrow. It's like you failed and you're letting us down.
Yeah.
So if you want to pursue anything professionally, especially something that's alternative that isn't necessarily academic, you need to remember to be a professional and not be as emotionally attached to it as you would something else. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
This is some good one.
It is, right? And it's really nice, chilled in the morning,
Yeah. So now back to, because we have to bounce back and forth with so many things. Oh no, I can't forget what was the question? Yeah, now being in the industry, both music and media. Like there's something you also mentioned that's really, really important. Dark skin and light skin.
Absolutely.
So how's that like just panning out, like even on mainstream media, or what are your thoughts on that? Because there's so many people like said like, you know what, I'm getting so many favors just because I'm light skinned.
Yeah.
And like for you, I can tell even for that, somebody to actually tell you that on set.
With confidence.
It can mess up with your head, especially when you're just trying to figure yourself out and get like in a certain position.
Right. And you see, I was told that when I was, I think, 18. So you're at that point as a woman. Yeah, like you've not even developed your self-confidence.
You feel a teen.
You're a child and you've barely figured out what it is you want to do. And as a woman, a big part of your value is placed on how you look.
Yeah.
You hear things like she's a PhD but she's ugly, and you're like, really?
What does that have to do with anything?
Yeah, and it's like a big part of your value is placed on how you look and how presentable you are.
Yeah.
So for me, I was bitter for a long time. I'm not even gonna lie. And even sometimes these days when I see someone who I believe doesn't even have a fraction of the talent that a lot of these black beautiful women have.
It's true.
And she literally just had to show up. She didn't even have to work. She didn't have to struggle.
And you can see it in their face. They always have that face.
Right? And they have this inflated sense of ego.
Yes.
Where they feel and I don't want to say they because now it sounds like I'm trying to.
Oh no, they know themselves because it's not everyone. It's not everyone. They know themselves.
Absolutely, and so you find someone who isn't as even gorgeous necessarily because sometimes it's just the color of your skin. Yeah. It's not your features. I personally believe in features. I like to see a good face.
Yeah.
And you look at this girl and she's very plain looking, but because of the color of her skin, she's going to get a lot of attention and stuff like that. And you're like, okay, fine. But what about talent? Like, what about people who can actually speak to people? Because one of the reasons why a lot of women are not influencing these young girls is because you're putting someone who has no depth and you're putting them on a pedestal. And me, I watch them and I can't relate to them.
I'm always even telling my friends, you put some people in such a high pedestal that you don't even take 1 or 5 minutes to actually just listen to what they're saying.
Absolutely. And you see right now but also again, I also feel like it's also because those girls they're not a typical black woman. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, when you think of a black woman, what do you think of? Angry? You think of mad? Well, I don't think of that, but that's what people think of.
That's what mainstream has painted.
Exactly. So you find this girl will, she doesn't mind being sexualized. Me, if you come and constantly, are you seeing the way I'm dressed? I'm in like a leather jacket, a vest, and pants, and this is how you'll always see me dressed. Unless, of course, I'm at an event where I have to dress a certain type of way.
Yeah, they need you to have.
Yes, but I'm not walking around here trying to be like, hey, notice me, guys. I'm, because I feel like if I want you to notice me, I want you to notice my mind, and I want you to notice my humor, the things that don't die out.
Yeah.
I wouldn't look like this forever.
Personality.
My personality, like those are the things that I would like you to say. Okay, that's dope. But don't come and tell me, oh my God, you're so this, you're so that. We need to have more. And then also, if you disrespect me, I won't take it lying down. I'm not going to be like calm and sit down. I will be like, hey, listen, we better watch the way you're talking to me because I'm going to slap you. And me, I slap niggas. Let me tell you. I slap niggas and I slap bitches. These hands are E for everybody.
You fight though?
I do fight. Let me tell you. I don't like fighting.
When was the last time you fought? When was the last time somebody tried you?
Probably last year, sometime last year.
What happened?
I have to remember. I can't really remember.
Was it at an event or just like private setting?
It was a private setting.
I can't remember why you beat up someone.
Did I really
I'm
beat
guessing
them
you
up?
won the fight, right?
Yeah, but like it was self-defense. Like I never threw the first punch, and I don't like fighting. Let me just point that out. But if you hit me, I'm gonna hit you back, and I'm gonna hit you to subdue you. Like I don't take that lying down. I'm half Somali. Like
you're half Somali, half
Kikuyu, Shiko.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's two parts of me. My mom always said this one is Al Shabaab and Mungiki. Don't mess with her. So you try me, I'll try you back.
Oh Lord,
yeah. But I'm not really a fighter. I prefer to. If you find me fighting, it's because I've literally walked away from a fight. Like when I feel like it's getting violent, particularly because also I scar easily, so I'm never really trying.
You're trying to take care of yourself. You're like, okay.
Yeah, it's like,
not
you know
today,
what?
Not today.
Yeah, I need this job. So let me.
Yeah.
So no, if you find me fighting, it's because I've really been pushed. Like,
somebody really pushed you to that.
Because I walk away. Like I don't care.
So are you gonna say what happened in that last fight or no?
I think from the one I can remember, I don't think it was last year. It was actually 2 years ago, 2018, and it was actually a friend of mine, and she's still one of my best friends until today. She's my sister, and we've been through ups and downs. We got really drunk, and she introduced me to this guy that I didn't like. I hated him so much, and I cannot even remember what happened. All I know is that she hit me with her purse when she was coming out of the. So it was, that Porte, isn't it Nissan, Toyota, that cab?
Yeah.
The door is like a bus.
Yeah. Like you can pop it open.
Yeah. So she had to cross over to get out.
Yeah.
And when she came out, she hit me with her purse, and I was like, you bitch. And so we fought, and then it just, she came out, and then I went home. And the moment we got home, we were crying, and we called each other. Like, we couldn't call each other because we were both busy, because we're both trying to call each other.
Yeah.
And so on WhatsApp, she called me, and I was like, I'm sorry. And she was like, I'm sorry. And we were like, what the fuck was wrong with us? And yeah, it was such a mess. Like, it's, I hate fighting.
That's a good friendship, though.
It is, ups and downs.
Making up and, just continuing from where, like, you left it.
Absolutely.
So now, because I'm seeing, like, we're almost running out of time, and I also don't want you to go late.
Yeah.
We have to touch on just love in general. Are you in a situation right now?
I'm in love, actually. Yeah, my boyfriend is mad at me. I woke him up at 4 a.m. today.
Yeah.
Because I had to do other things before I came here.
Yeah.
And so that meant me waking up earlier. So we normally wake up at 5:30, but I woke up at 4.
Oh wait, you live together?
No.
Oh, okay.
But we see each other every day.
Mm-hmm.
So he either comes to my house or I go to his. And so this time I was at his house.
So how important? Mm-hmm. So,
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Sorry.
So I woke him up at 4. He's still mad at me. I'm sorry.
Sorry, Mr. Boyfriend. Had things to do.
I got shit to do.
So just relationship-wise, I mean, how important is that? Do you think you're more creative or active when you're in a relationship, or when like you're solo, that's when like you're at your best?
I
What do you think?
personally believe that I'm better. I hate to say this, but I'm better when I'm solo. Particularly because when I love with my whole heart. So
Are you those people like even ditch friends and other things and projects?
I don't ditch my friends. Well, my friends feel like I've ditched them,
like
but
we
I
never
haven't.
talk to. She never talks to us. Imagine since she
It's
met
because I
that
hate
guy.
it. You know what I hate it? I hate it when my friends talk to me about my relationship. I hate that because I can
Maybe
be telling
they're
you a
seeing
story.
something that you don't.
True, but sometimes I also feel like it's not based. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not based on fact. It's just based on maybe even just like I'll tell you one thing, since I started dating my boyfriend, I don't hang out with my dad so much, and so my dad is jelly as hell.
Of course.
So he always just has an attitude when he knows I've come from hanging out. He's just like, and I can tell.
Yeah.
So I'm like, with my friends, I think I don't particularly like to talk to them about my relationship because I feel like they don't really understand what's happening with us, It's kind of even like talking about your friends with other friends.
Yeah.
A lot of them will be like, they'll give you some advice that might end up messing up your friendship.
True.
That is not necessary.
Yeah.
So I like to keep my relationship to myself. But then the problem is when I do that, a lot of times it feels like I don't want to talk about it, so something is happening in my life.
Yeah. Is everything okay?
Yeah.
Or?
And I hate that question, is everything okay? And I'm like, yeah, everything is fine. And they're like, oh, these days, every time. Or people just just insinuating things like, I thought I saw him the other day. Just... So I'd rather just be...
I thought, that will always come up.
Yeah.
And Nairobi is not that big, so I mean, those will always be there.
Absolutely. So I just try to be incognito with that. So, and I told you I love with my whole heart. So when I get in, I'm in this till the end. And at least when I leave a relationship, I leave knowing that I've done everything I could, and it's not going to work.
So what kind of things do you do, like just couples that for people who are trying to get in relationships and do fun things as couples,
Yeah, we made a list this year, beginning of the year, of things we wanted to do.
Together.
Yeah, so and we keep adding to the list. So we wanted to go ziplining at night. There's this thing at Kireta. Is it Kireta? Kireta.
Yeah.
We wanted to go ziplining at night, but we didn't end up going.
At night?
Yeah, it's at night. Can you imagine that?
Ooh,
crazy.
Okay.
Yeah, we didn't end up going because we were supposed to go with another couple, but then they ended up flaking on us. And so we were like, oh God.
How did that feel?
We didn't go.
When somebody
when they flaked on you.
Yeah.
Especially couples. When couples flake on you, it kind of sucks because the couple that flaked on us ended up breaking up. And so so now I'm like, what are we gonna do?
Oh no.
It's crazy.
Oh no. Now, I'm just asking you so that I can remind you the feeling of like how I felt when you didn't show up for the
Girl.
Yeah.
Shots fired.
Yeah, so what other things?
I am so sorry. I make it up to you.
No, trust me.
I will.
It's all good because now, even when you reached out, I was like, okay, now I think this is just coming from a very genuine,
I was so
place
mad. Like I was thinking about it the other day, and I stumbled upon. I never really watched on WhatsApp stories.
Yeah.
And I saw something that she had posted, and I was like, shit, I was supposed to be on this podcast, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna hit him up. And we're going to talk about it. If he's still down, then he's still out. If he's mad, he has a right to be mad. That's
no, I wouldn't do that because I always try and put myself in that position. Like, okay, I mean, they didn't want to, but like now they've reached out. I think they're in a perfect space to actually even do it.
Yeah,
so why
and
not
believe it or not, that scenario actually has helped me with my job now because I tell them, I have other things to do. Like, you can't just be hijacking my days like that. So now there's respect between me and my colleagues where I'm like...
time, it's like,
yes,
okay.
Don't tell me. And unless it's like a last minute, like it literally is the worst thing that... If it doesn't happen now, it's not going to happen. That's the only time I'll be like, okay, you know what? This is an exception. But other times, tell me in good timing. Because like today, they calling me yesterday and they're like, we want to shoot links tomorrow morning. I was like, I told you I'm not available. Like, no, it'll be quick. We'll just do it. I was like, no.
That would have happened again.
Yes,
today.
I was like,
Lord.
no, we're doing it on Friday. They're like, no, the crew won't be there. I was like, you better find a crew.
Yeah.
It's a whole studio.
Yeah.
There's some cameras.
Get someone.
But don't interfere with my days.
Yeah.
And considering the fact that in Kenya you have to have multiple sources of income, they need to understand that I'm going to be doing other things other than this job.
Yeah. And there's some things you just never know, like, because I know, like the way you've said, do you ever do interviews though?
No, I never do interviews.
See, that's the thing.
Because I ain't a famous girl. Like, I'm always just a podcast is a good conversation, you know.
Listen. Here's the thing, but there's just something about like if somebody goes on your Instagram, because it popped up like on my homepage, and that's how like I kind of like reach out to a lot of people. Popped up and I was like, who's this? She does a show and everything, but there wasn't much I could tell because you don't post like videos about yourself.
Yeah, but I post memes though. If you like memes, you better follow me on my story. Yeah.
Okay,
I even have a whole highlight for memes. So if you're depressed, go on my page. Extremely funny. I think I'm a comedian. I told you that.
So now you see the thing is like I couldn't tell, like even with the memes now, somebody still couldn't tell anything to do with like your personality. So I was like, this would be a really nice person because she's in this industry. She presents, and I can see the way she carries herself.
Thank you.
But you can't really tell anything about her. Why not bring her to the podcast, talk about
it? Right. Yeah. And I don't mind talking about it on the podcast. I just don't want to put myself out there. Like, remember I was telling you one thing, there's a mentor of mine that I haven't seen in forever, but he told me this when I was in my first year of uni, my first semester. I used to wear crop tops and like bralettes, and let me tell you something, you guys. I used to have the best body. It's like a bra, but a top bra. It's actually a bra. Let's not even lie. It's a bra.
Just that?
Yes, and especially when you have a thin waist and a flat stomach. Now I've put on so much weight, but let me tell you, my body was good because I worked so hard to look like that in high school.
I think you still look good.
Thanks, but if you saw me then, god damn. So anyway, I was like, I don't understand why every time. So one day I came to school in a sweater and pants, and I didn't wear any makeup, and everyone was like, are you sick? Are you okay?
Yeah.
Are you on drugs? And I was like,
are you on drugs?
I'm not. And he was like, yeah, what do you expect? Like, you put yourself on a pedestal. Now the day you dress down, everyone thinks there's something wrong with you. And so now I decided, no pedestal for me. I'm gonna just live my life. And it's so nice to be low-key. I get to do ratchet things and hood rat things and get away with it.
Once your name is out there like mainstream properly, like you can't do anything anymore because you start doing something, everybody's just like,
I know, right? Even it'd be your own people, your own family, your friends, everyone.
Even the waiter.
Even the waiter. God damn. And then those are the same people who call you and ask you, how did the video leak?
Guys are so
when
crazy.
When they got some shrooms from Gafla, shout out Gafla, by the way.
Because do you see the exposes nowadays? And I'm like, why?
And people have guts. Like, how do you even video a politician? Because I don't think back like 10 years ago, would you even have the guts to video a politician doing hood rat things?
I mean, listen, we all see the TV and you see what's happening. So just be careful. If you're putting yourself out there and doing some stuff, just know there can be repercussions to what you're doing, especially being in Kenya.
Right. But the revolution will be televised.
Yeah, of course.
Remember that.
It starts with us.
It starts with us. Yeah, but it's happening everywhere, even in Hong Kong, in Venezuela, even in America. Like, people are getting tired of this capitalist way of living where the rich are getting richer and the poor are getting children. So things need to change.
It's tricky.
They will change.
But we have to just start like painting that narrative and bring it to reality.
Our kids will do. We will live a better place for our kids. That's for sure.
I know that's for sure. I have to do that for my kids. It's the least I can do.
Me too.
Now back to relationship. What do you think of like just now the trend of it's not a trend, but how can I put it without, sounding too harsh to anyone? It's just like a trend of like right now on Instagram, couple goals and everything. And, if like you're a broke couple, like nobody wants to be associated or affiliated with that.
Yeah.
Like the picture of a couple is like luxury. Boyfriend has money. If you're a lady.
Yeah.
Of course, I don't know of any guys who say they're being sponsored, but I know they're there.
We know them.
But they know they're there.
They know themselves.
They're there for sure. They know themselves. But what do you think about that? I think there's just too much that's been put out for material than actual love connection.
And not just also material, also with this fake idea of what a relationship should be.
Yeah.
Like, that's another reason why I don't like talking about relationships with my friends, because I've noticed that a lot of people have this very a misconception that love has to be perfect. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And if it's not perfect, it's still perfect in a way. Like, you ever heard people who say, oh, the problems we should be having is like too much money, or he's too nice, or
Can you imagine?
that's not gonna happen.
Money?
Yeah.
What?
And I'm like, yo, the problems you're gonna have fights, and you're gonna have moments where you're gonna hate that person.
Yeah.
Okay. And what now makes a good relationship is how you people deal with that in the face of adversity. How do you guys act?
Yeah.
And so it's important for you to keep your relationship private, but don't hide the fact that you're in a relationship. I saw a post like that once on Tumblr.
Yeah.
And it's because you don't want people, because I noticed a lot of guys would come and talk to me in a way that was a bit inappropriate for a girl who's dating a guy, you know what I'm saying?
How?
Yeah, like people comment on my outfit in a very, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's you look nice, so you look lovely, and then there's, ooh, you look so sexy. That's like, you need to chill.
But listen. What if they actually just mean that you actually do look sexy? They don't want anything else from you.
Would you tell your mom that she looks sexy? That's what I always ask. With the compliment, think about it. If you would tell your mom, then you're allowed to tell me. Because me, I can't even tell my dad that he looks sexy. In fact, even complimenting him is normally like, it's like, you look nice. Oh my God.
Yeah.
So, you just have to make sure. And also, because I notice, especially with girls also don't understand boundaries. You find a girl who would come and touch. She's maybe known your boyfriend longer than you've known him since
I
they
think
were
that
kids.
they do that intentionally.
They do that intentionally. And so it's good for him to be like, this is my girlfriend, don't do that. Or I'm in a relationship that's inappropriate, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, and even guys, like you'll find guys who hug you and don't want to let go after the hug. You need to let people know that you're dating, okay?
So first of all, that's very important that you brought that up.
Yeah.
But where do you put like the boundaries? Because at times you have to think about it this way. It's a girl who like knows or has seen you somewhere, and they're like, I know the boyfriend. I just want to make her feel like some kind of
and
way.
I agree. That's exactly how they do.
What
That's
they
how
would
they
do,
think.
you have to think about it this way, because even if you get angry at boyfie, they've actually won, because that's what they were actually trying to do.
I don't get angry at my boyfriend though. I get angry at the girl. I'm normally like, I don't really try
so what happens?
to whatever. Like, because one thing is, a lot of people
They
do things for a
hug your
reaction.
boyfriend until they lift like the
Yeah,
leg
or
up,
they
and
do,
then-
or they don't let go. Like they hug him from up, and then they hold him like, and I'm like, yo, hey.
Or they start having a conversation.
Yeah, and I'm like, hey, because me, I'm like, hey, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Oh, you do
Or
that?
if she's getting too close, I stop you. Like if I see you, Kwanzaa, you know me, I can spot them from a mile away. I might not
that
even be
they're
looking
giving
at
those
you.
looks. Yeah.
I'll be spotting from a mile away and just be like, what are you doing? What are you doing? You better watch it. So you need to make sure you take care of your man. And my boyfriend does the same thing. When he feels like a guy is coming and being inappropriate, he's like, excuse me, that's my girlfriend. And it's like a lot of guys be like, but it's
sorry.
known.
Sorry.
You gotta let it know. Let it be known, guys. Let it be known.
Yeah, that's okay. Now how about things like just even like maybe social media? It's kind of tricky because you're also like still on mainstream.
Right.
But if somebody just likes you and they're posting like maybe a comment on Instagram, does that spark something like,
No,
like
we
now-
laugh at those all
Yeah.
the time, especially the really inappropriate ones, especially my DMs. Some of you people in my DMs are crazy.
How are your DMs though? I'm sorry.
I've just seen the weirdest. I never knew how weird people were until I got on TV and started seeing some of the whatevers. Like someone sends me a message, nice buttocks.
Wow.
I'm like, what did he think was gonna happen
And
when
you're
he sent
always
that message?
facing the screen like this when you
Yes.
present it on telly, right?
And
Or
I'm
have you
like,
ever
what
been-
is wrong with you? I think I've had one picture where I was from the back. I was giving, I think it was with Kago and Mugai.
And
I was
also
giving
do you
him a
have-
hug. And it was like, literally.
Oh, that was a nice picture. I think
Thank you.
I
I
remember
like that
picture.
picture too. That's why I posted it. It was really nice.
And that's why I
iPhone-
decided I will not post a comment here because I will not get a podcast interview if I post a comment. Be like,
It's
hey,
crazy.
it's a nice picture, but double tap and that's it.
And also, like with a lot of male friends, I've noticed. The other day we went on Monday. Tuesday was a holiday, right?
Yeah.
So we went out and were invited. I was invited to a house party. So I got there and everyone was just being super weird. And then I was
What's
like,
weird? How?
just the vibe was off. I don't.
Yeah,
really
you're like
tell
you're not just feeling like
yeah,
there's
and these are
something.
people that I know. So I was like, okay, this is weird. So I went with my boyfriend, of course.
Yeah.
And then when we're leaving, I get a text, and this guy's like, you can't move with your boyfriend. Next time, come alone. I was like, whoa.
Oh,
That
I
is
know.
very rapey.
I know the kind of party that is.
Yeah. So I was like, that's not cool. So now I'm even weary of having like male friends because I'm like,
It's kind of tricky.
Yeah.
But I know like the thing is like even with me, I'm just so used to being. I can chill in a group of guys. I can chill with a group of like women. But I've just taught myself how to maneuver every differently, and when I'm dating or I've gone with somebody somewhere, I'll even explain to them like the situation. Like, if you see this happening, maybe it's just because of this, but don't take offense of this. But I'll just try and because it's kind of tricky. Because if they've invited you, it's at night. Maybe your boyfriend's just like, yo, let me just give you company and just,
he should.
Yeah,
and you see the thing
as he should.
As he should. Because I don't want to go to a night party alone. Like, it's either I come with my boyfriend or I come with a friend. And I don't even like coming with other girls because you never know what situation you're going to be putting someone in.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Because there was this, I'll send it to you later and maybe you just watch it. But let me see if I can open so that you can see the title of the thing. Who did I send it to? It's a very important video, but we're almost done. Don't worry.
Okay.
Oh Lord, can I remember who I sent it to?
Just find it. I'm just gonna send a real quick text.
Yeah. Okay. Here, this guy was invited for a party, right? It's a guy who's invited with his friends. His friends invited him to a party, and they ran out of alcohol. He doesn't drink.
Yeah.
And then they were like, yo, since you've come with all this alcohol, why don't you just take a few shots and everything?
Right.
So just look at the headline.
Man who was sodomized. What?
Was it 5 or 6 guys?
He was gang raped?
By 6 guys.
What?
Friends, his friends. And I was just like, what kind of friends? But
these streets aren't safe though.
But that's the thing. Because I know, and I've had just some people at times when they're talking, I'm like, that's inappropriate.
That's suspect,
and
right?
It's sus. Exactly. You're like, But then again, when this era where if somebody says that, you can be like, oh, why is he saying it like he's, it's kind of like.
I have a friend, there's a girl who, I don't know, but sometimes I'm not sure if people have gone through something before. There's a party we went to on New Year's, and this girl, it was just here in, I don't want to say where, because
don't put it out.
So she, everywhere, like this party, I was there for like 2 hours. So in these 2 hours that I was there, she had 3 instances where she accused a guy of either touching her inappropriately or doing something that crossed the line of, And so when we're getting back home with my boyfriend, I was like, that was just fucking crazy. Like, I'm always going to be on the girl side because I know a lot of girls who've been assaulted and no one has stood up for them. But then after the third, now she did it first time, and the second time I was not there. So I was like, okay. And the third time I was like, okay, this is too much. So I didn't want to say that nothing, like, it didn't happen. But then when we're talking about it with my boyfriend, he was like, maybe something happened to her before and she's just having PTSD.
And I know people who are like that as well. Like, you might just be chilling and talking. Because like for me, I'm currently not in a relationship, right? So maybe I've invited somebody somewhere and everything. But you notice there's something like a bit off. Like, somebody at 1 minute they'll be like, yo, what's up? Maybe, they're holding you in a certain way. And then when you just reciprocate, or like,
red flag,
just being
red
like,
flag.
just being like other guys are like, hey, listen, hey,
let's take it slowly, step by step.
Slow. So I'm very wary of that. But there's so many other people who like, they do not know boundaries at all.
Yeah, especially. And also girls don't know boundaries. Like I remember there was, and I've noticed this now in a relationship, a lot of girls will do things that if a man did to me, everyone would be like, yo, what are you doing? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you have girls who will try and touch him really close to his crotch or try and touch his ass when they... And I'm like, what is wrong with you? You know what I'm saying? Like, what you raised, you weren't raised right.
Yeah, who raised you?
Who raised you, girl?
Yeah.
So it's like, and you see the thing is, that's the one thing I appreciate is that I've always told my boyfriend, if I see that, I will speak up about it. And he's like, please do. Because if I speak up about it, everyone's going to
be
look
a
at
whole
me.
other thing,
It's going to just be blown out of proportion and she's going to turn around and say that I did something. So I was like, you know what? I got you.
And who's going to expect, who's going to say like the guy was actually telling the truth?
Right.
It's always like guilty. If it's a black man, it's guilty until proven
innocent.
Yeah.
Right.
It's very, very tricky. Because even for me, when I was slightly younger, when I was in uni and stuff, like we used to do those random things like clubbing and everything, and you can still go home with somebody that you don't even know, you start knowing them the next day. But
the number of times you have to ask someone their name.
But now, like it's so tricky. You can't move like that. And okay, of course I've grown up and everything, but I can't move like that. Even for somebody who's slightly younger, they still can't move like that because it's very, very sensitive.
Right.
Because even if you're dating somebody and then somebody's like, yo, can we go to your place or my place? I'd be like, what exactly do you
are
want
we
us
going to do? And that's another thing.
And I want you to say it so that I do not want this to be
You've
anything.
given spoken consent, even written
Yes.
if you must. Because that's another thing. And I feel like now we've blurred the lines with this whole Me Too era. Like, I'm all for the Me Too era because, I don't believe that sexual assault should ever happen.
Yeah.
But we're in an era where we're not really sure what is assault and what is sexual misconduct anymore.
Yeah.
Like, people, before we knew it was spanking and it was this and it was that. But now there's people who actually like those things, number one.
Yeah.
And then number two, there's people who are... Like, for example, there's a girl who accused Aziz Ansari of sexual misconduct. But it really just ended up, everyone was like, that's not sexual, that's a bad date. You know, like going to a date with a guy and he tries to kiss you and you turn him down doesn't make him a rapist. You know what I'm saying? Or she tries
now
to kiss you.
Now you even have to ask for, can I kiss you?
Yes.
And we just caught up in the moment and everything.
Exactly. So it's like we need to really, and we also need to understand that people are different. Like, remember what we're talking about, the ethnic thing. People from different areas are different. That doesn't excuse someone obviously being, acting out of pocket with you.
Yeah.
But we should be more understanding of everyone. Because if you feel unsafe, it's always good to leave the situation.
Listen,
and also, girls, go to dates with your own money, because sometimes, the only way you can leave a situation at your own...
It's if you have,
yes, because let me tell you, when I used to date,
Yeah.
There's so many guys I went on dates with, and 10 minutes in, I was like, I don't want to be here anymore. And not because he's rapey or just because he's annoying.
Yeah.
And what would I do? I would call my cab and be like, oh, sorry, my mom has just called me, I need to go home. And you pay your bills, so there's no reason for him to fight. Yes, he's come all the way, but the vibe is off, so...
So I want you to read something, but I can't open the whole message because it's just going to be too...
It's too long.
Not too long, it's just too inappropriate. So there's this Tanzanian girl I had something with, right? So, we linked up, date and everything. It all went well. We made out here and there. And, she said, that's all you can get for today.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, but you just have to know that I'm going back to Kenya. I don't know when I'm coming back. I'm not coming back.
Yeah, so don't hold your breath.
If you like it enough, you're going to come back.
Yeah.
Back for me.
Yeah.
Like, of course, but that's just way...
Yeah, that's a long thing. God damn.
It's just
if you like it enough.
Imagine, so...
People think this is the movies.
So I get back in Kenya and everything. I'm like, it was nice spending time with you and everything. And she was like, I hope, like the other day when we were together, I thought it was going to go further. I was like, go further? What do you mean it was going to go further? I was like, she said, you did not, but you did not try hard enough. She said, in fact, I can't even show you this message. It's just on a chain of so many other things that I... But she was like, what she said is like, you did not try hard enough. So I told her, hard enough, it's borderline to rape.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's like you said no, and I keep going.
Exactly. She said no, and that's why I stopped at it. So it's like, okay, we just make out and everybody can go.
Yeah.
It was nice meeting you, and we can just stay in touch. Mm-hmm. But the whole thing is, she kept on texting me and saying, like, you should have tried enough.
I guess
hard enough.
Some things, when it comes to sex, no, shouldn't. That's not what I agree on. But when it comes to other things, like, if you keep asking me out on a date and I keep saying no, then maybe you should try harder. But once it gets to a sexual point, then no means no. I'm sorry. Yeah. And ladies, that's just, these days they don't even call us sluts anymore. So if you want to fuck, just say you want to fuck. Yeah. And chances are it's going to be disappointing. So don't feel bad about yourself.
Yeah. But it's just important, like, to just clarify, like, things. Yeah. Because now with that whole Me Too movement, everything is super sensitive. Right. Just try and protect yourself and protect the
True, absolutely. Well. And you never know what you're setting yourself up to. Some people are actually looking to set you up. You know what I'm saying? There's some...
Exactly.
Yeah, there's people who are looking for something. And, sometimes even I hear stories of certain people who, when they're rejected, they get violent. Both men and women. Like, there's men who, when they're rejected, they get violent. Or even just this idea of, because he took you out on a date and he paid for your whatever, is that you owe him
crazy.
Sex. No. And I think always that's what I'm telling you, before you go on these dates, it's really nice to have your own money. Even if you don't intend on spending it. it's nice to have it, you know.
But even speaking of which, oh now, these stories are just way too... Maybe I'm suffering from some PTSD, I'm telling you. So I took somebody on a date and everything, because I thought everything was just going well.
Yeah.
And then after the date, it's slightly late. And they didn't give any indication that they want to go home.
Yeah.
So I was like, so do you want to go to my place and chill and everything? I'm just being a gentleman, right?
She could be homeless.
Exactly. Maybe
never
she doesn't
know.
have a place to
She
sleep.
doesn't have a place to
So
stay.
yeah, I'm like, yo, do you want to go there or do you want to go somewhere else? Maybe like now just drink. And
a club or
maybe
something.
you can go home. Yeah. She's like, just because you've brought me food, you think that's enough to take me home or go sleep with me? I was like, that's not.
Just
what
say
I was
no.
saying. Just say
Just
no.
say no. I
Just
don't
say
want to
like
come
no.
home with you.
Like not today.
Yeah.
That's all you have to say.
Because I dated a guy once, and he literally irks me until today. When I remember him, I just feel like, ugh.
Yeah.
He wanted to sleep with me from the first time we met, right?
The
and
first day.
Yeah, and I think I was even a virgin when we met at that time.
Ooh.
And he was a bit older than me. He was probably about 7-8 years older than me.
Okay.
And so he's made up his mind that he wants to sleep with me, and he was constantly asking me. And anytime I would not be available to meet him or to do something with him, he would always try and accuse me of something, and he would get very aggressive.
Accuse you of what?
Yeah, like I would be like, oh, I can't come tonight because I'm working tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
And he'd be like, no, there's nothing like working. You're with another man. And he would be so aggressive with saying it.
Yeah.
And so, or we would go to a date, and after we eat, I'm like, all right, I'm trying to go. And he's like, so you mean I'm going to bring you all the way here and then you just go home? I was like, that was the fucking plan. Like, that was the plan from the beginning.
We're just coming to eat some food.
You asked me to come and eat, and if you told me that, I wouldn't have come. I would have stayed home.
Yeah. Okay.
And so it's annoying, and it's tired. Guys, don't do that. Okay. And also, ladies,
isn't it even fun when just both of you are in sync? That's why I'm
and
always...
sometimes you meet someone and you like them, but you don't like them romantically.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Yeah. And it's okay because there's somebody out there.
There is.
For you.
And it's very possible. And you see, I think also men sometimes have a complex where if you don't like them romantically, they feel like, oh,
I'm not good enough.
yeah. And even girls sometimes, like, I remember we were talking about it with my boyfriend, and he was like, there was a girl that he was just talking to randomly, like a friend, and then he posted us now when we started dating, and then she blocked him, and he was like, what did I do?
Like, fuck
Yeah,
this
she's
nigga.
like, this nigga's been leading me on. No, some people are just nice and polite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very tricky in the dating like scenario, like right now in this new day and age.
Yeah.
Things are not as traditional as they used to be. We have Tinder, we have all those apps, and even DMs just work in a whole different way.
Yeah.
You can get a certain message at night, you can send somebody at a certain message at night, and they'll respond in many different ways. But that's just like a story for another day.
It is. I agree. So
Because I know you're almost...
I gotta go.
Yeah, I know you have to
go.
leave. So one last question.
Yeah.
I'll definitely... What did you think of the podcast?
I
first of
loved
all?
it. I loved it. It was
it worth
absolutely
your time?
amazing. Absolutely worth my time. I didn't even think we were going to take this long. I thought it was just going to be, like a conversation. Because I'm an awkward person sometimes.
Are
but
you?
this is easy
This,
conversation.
just the flow. Everything.
In fact, we have more to talk about.
Let's just say it's not TV.
It's not TV, and that's what I love about it.
So one more question that I normally ask people before they leave the podcast.
Okay.
But we're definitely doing a part 2 because this was...
I'm coming, for sure.
I'm super grateful that you
Me
reached
too.
out.
I'm
Made
glad
this
I
work.
came all the way. It was super far from where I live, but you know what?
Yeah,
It was worth it. It was every kilometer worth it.
So the last question is, what's the one thing... okay, before the last question. Just one more.
Okay, go ahead. I
'Cause
still
you
have to finish my sparkling
Yes,
wine.
because you spoke about just like being body conscious or something. So do you work out, or how do you just stay in tune with like just your health?
I've been trying to join a gym, but I haven't done it yet.
In
So
West
hopefully
London
before the end of the week.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try and join a gym, but I don't know if I can really. I don't know. I feel claustrophobic in gyms, but I do walk a lot, power walk, and run sometimes when I'm feeling flamboyant. But that's pretty much it. I skip sometimes.
Do you think? Does it really get in your head? Like, are you really concerned about? Because now we
Not
have
about
like,
my body,
we have
but about my
Lizzo.
health.
Is it Lizzo or
Yeah.
Izzo?
Oh God, I don't. I'm sorry. I'm gonna be the devil's advocate. I don't like that. I don't. I think everyone should be confident in the way they look, but there's a limit. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a limit.
Listen, I'm glad that's coming from you and not me, because
No,
now it
I'm
would be-
sorry.
it
Like,
would be
and I
changed
said
to-
it. I have no problem. Like, I love plus size women, and I love everyone to feel confident in the way they look. But I do believe that we should not put it in a place where it's not healthy. Because even
it's gonna
dogs,
affect
like,
you
have
in
you
the
ever
long-
seen
in the long
dogs
run.
that get really fat?
Yeah.
Like, it's
Yeah.
not good for them. You know what I'm saying? It's not good for animals. It's not good for us. It's not
Diabetes,
good.
high blood pressure,
Cholesterol. And
Yeah.
then she's obviously impacting a lot of young minds. So you're going to see people who are thinking it's okay to be unhealthy.
Yeah.
And especially in America with all the junk
the
food
junk
and the
food
GMOs.
and everything. It's never that serious.
Yeah,
right?
and it's just be healthy. You don't have to be skinny or you don't have to be slim. There's a lot of people who are actually more fit than me. And like my mom, for example, my mom's a bit big.
Yeah.
She is literally, she'll go on a treadmill for a whole 40 minutes. I can't even do 10.
Yeah, yeah.
I can't even do 4. Like I do 1 and I'm just like, 1 minute.
Yeah.
It's like the clock of the treadmill goes a lot slower than other clocks. But my mom will do a whole 40 minutes. And I hate going to the gym with her because she's so much more fit than me. So it's not about your size, it's about your health. So just make sure you're healthy. And I think also walking for me, that's why I walk. You feel better, you feel healthier, you feel happier. You get to clear your mind and think about solutions. I love thinking about solutions when I'm walking. It makes me feel so much better.
Your health is your wealth.
It is. And also for me, I love fries and I'm about to go get some fries.
Wow.
I can
get
eat
some
fries
here.
morning.
You can get some
Yeah,
here
I don't know if
before
I
you
like
leave.
our cafe fries. I like
Have you tried their home fries?
I love their home fries.
Okay,
That's
now
what
there
I'm
you go.
having.
The
I've changed my
chicken
mind.
wings. The chicken wings.
It's the same sauce, isn't it? The same sauce with the home
Wing
fries.
sauce. Yeah.
I don't like the wings. I love the home fries though. They're amazing. That's what I'm gonna get. In fact.
Then let's
Yes.
do that for takeaway. Then the last question is, what's the one thing that you think you're in pursuit of right now, and if you got it, it's going to give your life meaning, direction, fulfillment, or even just happiness maybe?
Finances. I think for me right now, I just want to I'm trying to get a house, a car, a good car rather.
At the same
before
time?
I'm 30.
Okay, what kind
No.
of car do you want?
A Mercedes, a C200,
Hey, listen.
2014. God damn. It's not even
I'll
a.
send this to my friend because, Team Benz, I'm also setting
I
up for
love a
one.
Benz.
I'm trying to get a Benz.
I
too.
know what's gonna look like, and I'm getting it. I've manifested, and I'm
Let's
working towards
speak
it.
it to existence.
Amen. Amen.
So yeah,
So
finances.
just my finances. My sister wants to go to Brown. And that's a very expensive school. So I'm just hoping that if I can pay for her school fees, that would be absolutely like a dream come true. I love my small sister. She's so amazing. So that would be, I think, the most fulfilling thing I could have done for anyone in my family. Yeah.
Wow. Special. Now I think we've come to the end of the podcast, and thank you so much. And definitely, I wish you nothing but the best.
Thank
in your journey.
you too.
And I hope, just with the podcast, it's like giving us like a better way of just knowing each other.
Right.
And now even if we stay in
Now
touch,
we should hang out.
We should.
Yes,
we should, for sure.
absolutely. It's gonna happen.
I'll show up with my girlfriends.
Hey, bring them all. Bring them all.
Tell the people what else you have going on and where they can find you online.
All right, so I'm getting into production, so you're going to look out for a lot of executive produced by Queenshire, which is CIKU.
Nice.
Shire. And of course, you can follow me on Instagram. Don't follow me on Twitter because I'm an idiot on Twitter. And you will not even, let me tell you, I use Twitter. Twitter's for clowns, but anyway. On Instagram, at Queenshire. That's Queen, like Q, what is it, QU? I can't spell without writing things down. Can you imagine?
It's your handle. Come on.
Yes, QUEEN. Shire, which is SHIRE.
Yeah. So
Yes.
I'll put the tags down below
Yeah.
so you won't miss that. So
And
it's been
yeah, that's it. That's pretty
anything
much it.
else?
No, I've had the best time. This is the best podcast
Thank
that I've
you.
been to. I've been to a couple. To more. To part 2.
Part 2 and the Benzes.
And to the Benzos.
Ooh.
Look at how much I've drunk and how little you've drunk.
It's been another amazing episode of the Kiss Podcast. We appreciate all the love and support. And guys, you know the drill. We're on Apple Podcast, Spotify, Castbox, YouTube, Facebook and Instagram. It's the only way you can show some love and support and help our channel and social media platforms grow. We appreciate all the love and support. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. It's the Kiss Podcast. Goodbye.